Welcome. Some of you probably recognize me from the Instagram, it's Kelsie Marie. I've been on many podcasts and news segments over the past few years, and I decided to start my own show because I have a lot to say. And I've been holding it in for so long that I just decided I think it's time I start my own channel. Some people have planted that in my mind and have really encouraged me to go for it. So I'm gonna go for it. I'm starting messy. I'm not starting perfect. Nothing is perfectly curated. Nothing looks perfect in my apartment, but I'm starting and I'm doing it anyway, and I think it's going to add value, and I'm really excited to take you on this journey with me. With that being said, you are watching Kelsie Marie Unfiltered, where we have real talk on leadership, resilience, growth, all very important topics to me. And look, guys, I've lived a lot of lives already. I'm a Marine Corps officer. I have served for over 10 years now, an entrepreneur, a nonprofit founder, and most recently a student pilot. It has been one of the greatest joys of my life, learning how to fly airplanes. I also have a lot going on in our world right now, and I think that's what really pushed me to want to start this, because I've been through a lot in my life, and I've learned over the past few years to identify when I'm taking on a victim mindset and how that does absolutely nothing for me. And so I want to share with you the things that I've learned over the past few years, and in addition to some of my military experience, because I think a lot of that plays a huge part in why I wanted to start this channel. We've all heard this phrase that heal people, right? And that hurt people. I gravitate towards that a lot because it makes me think about how I show up. I've had things occur in my life, and I've been hurt, but I've also gone through a process of healing too. So how do I show up to others in my life? The type of impact that I want to have is that of resilience, leadership, grit, good moral character, faith. And I really want to challenge my friends here. Live a life free of the victim mindset and to make decisions in their lives to live with purpose and intention. Anyway, that's why I started this channel. I want to have real, unfiltered conversations about what it actually means to take charge of your life and to lead yourself forward when life throws you flat on your face. I've served in the Marine Corps for over a decade now. I was active duty from 2015 to 2019 and took a little bit of a sabbatical, came back in the Marine Corps in 2022, and I've worked at both the tactical levels and the operational levels, and the Marine Corps has shaped me in just about every way. I tell people the Marine Corps has taken a lot from me, but it has also given me everything that I have. I'm so thankful for what the Marine Corps has done in my life. I'm proud, so very proud to be a United States Marine. I'm so very proud to serve my country. I love my country. I want to do everything I can to positively influence my country. So being a Marine has been one of the greatest joys of my life. It has shaped me in the way that you learn how to pick up the pieces, right? When everything falls apart, no plan ever goes according to plan, but things inevitably fall apart, and your ability to adapt and overcome and to pick up the pieces and still move forward and still decide, still lean into discomfort and press forward and to stay the course. The Marine Corps has largely taught me that, and in addition to my faith, which is very important to me, and that's also a huge part of who I am and what I'll share here on this podcast as well. So I think another thing that needs to be talked about in the first episode here is a little bit more of the why. And the why in my life has largely stemmed from tragic loss. On June 8th, 2022, I lost my fiancé, Nick, in a military aviation mishap. He was conducting a routine training mission with his co-pilot and 3 crew in the back, a normal routine training mission, something that he'd done a million times, and it was a beautiful, clear, blue sky day in June. But his Osprey, his MV-22 Osprey, experienced an unrecoverable mechanical failure. If they knew down to the minute when everything was going to happen, there was still nothing that could have been done to rectify the situation. That mishap, most infamously known as the SWIFT-11 mishap, it caused an onslaught of safety stand-downs and investigations across the War Department for many years following. That day changed everything for me. I went from planning a wedding to planning a funeral, and from having my life completely mapped out to standing on the wreckage of it. Anyway, after the mishap, it was a no-brainer for me to return to service in the Marine Corps. At that time, I had already fulfilled my service obligation on active duty, and I was out at the time, but I called a prior reservist recruiter a month after Nick passed away, and I got back in. I ended up finding myself attached to MAR-4 PAC, their G35 Future Operations section, as a Future Operations Planner in the Indo-Pacific. Talk about a pretty significant pivot from being in grief brain to now working at the highest level I'd ever worked at in the Marine Corps. After 3 years being out of the Marine Corps, having to snap back in and start working in an environment that I knew very little about. That'll be a story for another day. But I remember when Nick died, I made a promise that I would continue his legacy. And I did that by starting the Purple Skies Foundation, which is a nonprofit dedicated to providing resources to all significant others of service members killed in action or the line of duty. And I stepped away from my very lucrative government contracting job to pursue my commercial pilot's license. I'm in a full-time collegiate Part 141 flight school right now, and it's been wonderful. It's been absolutely incredible. So with that being said, bringing it full circle, I really started this channel because I understand how easy it is to fall into the victim mindset, and I found myself there, and that is not it. I really found myself skirting along the lines of, why is this happening to me? Why does this have to be my life? But the better question is, why not me? No one is immune to pain and suffering. We cannot control what happens to us in life, but we very much can control our response, right? We can control how we respond to the things that are thrown at us. And that, my friends, is what makes a person great, is who they are when life is hard. Which way do they lean? Do they crumble and do they fall? Or do they lean in? Do they go into the uncomfortable? Do they go boldly in the face of adversity? Do they keep the fight? That's the type of person I want to be. And that's the mindset that I want to foster with this channel. How do we lead ourselves so that we can show up better in our family, so we can show up better in our communities, so that we can make a positive impact in our country that we love, right? So I've realized that many people are fighting similar battles: loss, burnout, uncertainty, tragedy. But I really want to focus on how we can climb out of that. How we can step out of the victim mindset and step into a person of action that's built their foundation on solid ground. That no matter what life throws at us, we're standing firm in our faith and our conviction in who we are. So on this channel, we're going to talk about resilience, how to find strength when life breaks you wide open. We're going to talk about leadership, how to lead yourself and others when you don't have all the answers. And we're going to talk about authentic growth, what it takes to heal, rebuild, and live life fully with purpose and passion in everything that we do. You'll hear lessons from the Marine Corps. You'll hear other people's stories. I'll have other people on here. You'll hear stories about aviation and entrepreneurship. You'll hear honest reflections about life. My goal here is to make you feel seen, like you have a place where your cup is filled to step into life and be a better version of you. Someone who has resilience, someone who's rooted in their faith, someone who is ready to rock and roll and get out of that victim mindset, get out of the woe is me, get out of that, why does this have to happen to me? Why does this keep happening to me? Why me? You were chosen for this task, so let's figure out how to get through it together, right? Because there's a reason why you're going through what you're going through. It's to better equip you, it's to enable you, it's to lead you into the next phase of your life that you're not quite ready for, and we're building up some tenacity right now here in this moment. So lean into it, lean into the discomfort. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones, and we're gonna talk about that, my friends. Anyway, I'm Kelsie Marie, and this is Kelsie Marie Unfiltered. Remember, resilience isn't built in comfort. Keep showing up, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.